Greetings. I am Tom Earl. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here today sharing your greatest gifts, your time and energy, it means the world to me. I hope you know that in this moment you are valued, you are loved, and you are appreciated just as you are. My friends, I have a new series for you. This is called the Listening Deeper or the Re-Listen series. You can call it either one. I know I am. Now, you may have heard this intro before. We are using the same intro for this series. So have no fear if you're listening to this again and thinking, oh, I've heard this episode before. Don't worry. Same great intro. Absolutely amazing new podcast. So feel free to hit the skip 30 seconds if you've heard this before. But if this is your first time hearing this, welcome, my friends. What we are presenting to you over these next episodes is really some deeper listenings or some re-listens to some of our most requested, some of our most listened to, some of my favorite episodes that we've done. Now, we have put out over 300 episodes since this has started. That means all the way back to 2016, I've put out one episode a week, every single week without fail since 2016. That means there's a lot of really awesome interviews, solo episodes. There's some really great things in there that you probably haven't heard if you're just joining us, or even if you're a longtime listener. So what I want to do is pull together a number of my favorite ones and your favorite ones that you have listened to or that have been listened to before you. And I want you to either hear them fresh for the first time or give them a re-listen yourself. I'm telling you, I have re-listened to each of these and really just thinking about where I was in my life then, or the wisdom from then that applies to now, because some of these are going to be from 2016. Some are going to be from last year. Some of them are going to be, weeks before everything that went down in 2020. So I want to share these with you as a gift going into the time vault of our episodes. And really, I invite you to go through these with new ears, with new hearts, because we are new people here in this moment. Now, I invite you to let me know if you listen to it, what year do you think this week's episode was from? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. My friends, I look forward to sharing this Listening Deeper as we re-listen series with you. Let us jump into this week's re-listen. Here we go. As you can see, I am not alone. I have an amazing guest. She goes by the name of Dijana Llugolli. How's it going today, Dijana?
It's going great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so much, I'm so honored and privileged and grateful to be connecting with you all the way from Stockholm. So it's cool.
Yeah, I love the ability of, technology to allow us to meet face to face and have a conversation with this much time, space, time zone, travel, all of that separating us. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I introduce you to the folks out there via reading your bio?
Sure.
Dijana is a leading success and business coach in Scandinavia and a global citizen with client base in 23 different countries. Her unique charisma, high vibe energy, and expertise allows her to impact and help hundreds of online entrepreneurs to launch and scale their online business. Her programs are renowned for international goal setting, business planning, and digital strategies. She guides you step by step to find your genius and transform your passion to profit. Her story as an online marketer, coach, and speaker started in March 2018 when she burnt out, almost divorced, on the verge of giving up, decided to make a pivotal change in her business. After that rock bottom, she became obsessed with working smarter rather than harder, and she is now the go-to expert for female entrepreneurs who are ready to make more impact, influence, and income. Her genius is automation, systems, and funnels, and now she is on a mission to support 1 million women to do, and to have whatever they desire and to live their version of a freedom lifestyle. Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
So we always
That's me.
That's you. So we always like to start the interviews by saying, the bios are awesome and they never let us get to know like the true person. So our prompt for you is, if we really knew you, or if we were your really good friend, or if we spent a bunch of time with you, what's something we'd learn about you that we could never learn from the bio?
Yes. So my story, one of the really things that I want to portray through my coaching, through my speaking, and all that I do is like being fearless and sharing your voice and your message. And that goes back to when I was a kid. I'm a second generation immigrant kid, and I was always raised to be, don't stand out, shut up. My teacher told me I can't speak language. And I was always like, you can't speak, you can't speak, you can't speak. I couldn't speak properly the language that was spoken in the school because we spoke another language at home. So, and then that, you have this limiting belief that you can't speak. And then in my high school, again, I chose a second language, which was German. Yeah, I don't know why I choose German. And the German teacher also told me, you can speak, you can speak, you can speak. At that point, that was my fourth language. And I signed up as extra activities, Spanish as well. So that was fifth language. And I always had this belief I can't speak. So one of my things when I started my coaching was, okay, so I need to level up that skill of speaking. And that was before I actually started to coach, when I moved to Sweden, where I was, you have to find a job. I was very highly qualified. I had a master's degree, which I finished in Sweden, and I had my home master's degree in business. I was overqualified. The one thing that I didn't know is how to speak Swedish. And again, you can't speak a language, so the pattern just, repeated itself. So the language kind of became something that I wanted to, the connection between me and my clients. And that's why I call myself a global citizen, because at this point, I speak 7 languages. How awesome is that? And I wanted people to know that you have a message, you have a voice. No matter what color, what nation, what religion you are, what gender, what sexuality, whatever, you have a voice, you have a message, so speak up. So that's kind of story from being bullied as, an immigrant kid to a woman that's really making a change and impact through her story, where she couldn't speak, literally hiding in a corner, reading books. Yes, I'm a bookworm, I'm a nerd, to that place where, yes, I use that awkward English to empower women to be, do, and have whatever they desire.
I am inspired, and I'm also super jealous. I always say if I could have any superpower, it'd be to speak every language in the world. So you got 7. That's pretty awesome.
It is.
So we had started to talk before the interview started. And just for some context, a lot of our guests shared the immigrant experience. And, we know a lot of the world's most famous entrepreneurs were immigrants. So there seems to definitely be a connection from the immigrant experience and entrepreneurship. A lot of our listeners, though, are American-based. So we are aware of what it's like, the American immigrant experience, which usually has elements of racism in it and, xenophobia and stuff like that. If you don't mind sharing, just so we can broaden our perspective, what was your family's immigrant experience like in Europe?
So it was always, kind of, you are that other, So my parents always told me, you have to really, really, really study hard. You have to work hard. And, we were also, my parents didn't have money, They moved from Bosnia to Slovenia, where my mother would literally made my clothes. We never bought a clothes for myself, all my 2 siblings. So that was you were always someone else. You were always a misfit, a rebel, somewhere out there, the other one. And yeah, that was harsh. But I also like, I remember when my parents got divorced, and that was the first year when I started high school, I was super nerdy. Like, I was such a nerd. And I would really study hard. And then I would also find a summer job where I said, you know what, if I could just have this pair of jeans. My first jeans were Levi jeans, because my mother couldn't afford it, and that was like, I remember when I went to the store, and I worked my butt off the whole summer to buy like one pair of Levi jeans. And that was like, oh my goodness, I can totally make it happen, whatever I desire. And that was the belief, if I work hard enough, I can, my wishes can come true. And I remember then, after a while, after 2 or 3 years, I actually started to work in that. It was a high fashion sales store, which had like, Armani, Versace, and all this good stuff. I started to work there, and I got really, really inspired and really empowered by a mentor who was my supervisor, how women are actually selling. Like this high touch sales, when you are in a, these are clothes who actually, they are high-end clothes. So you have to make your customers feel good. And this was such a good selling experience where I got to learn from someone like, which I admire still to this day. And basically, like my story goes back to underdog. You can do everything because you have got nothing to lose. So that's my story. So always go, always try, always be fearless, because, you're already out there. The other one, you have nothing to lose. This is my kind of immigrant experience and the underdog story.
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I know it's a personal question, so I appreciate that opportunity to learn about your experience. So you were doing high-end sales in high-end fashion. How did you start to get the entrepreneurial bug? Did you have it ever since you were young? When did it start to come to be?
Yeah, so I was there in that job for 2 years. I really got like great promotions. I was really like one of the top sales representatives. And I really started to like sales. Then when I was 21, I knew that, if I can do this for someone else, I can definitely do this for myself as well. And at that time, my husband had an opportunity we traveled to Germany where he has his brother, and his brother actually gave us this idea. It was actually an opportunity to set up our own business with clothes, accessories, fashion accessories. I said, yeah, totally. I already work with that. I can totally do that. And that was in May 2003 when we opened like our first business. And that year, in the fall, I also started to study entrepreneurship. So that's kind of like went practical and theory hand in hand.
That's great. In your bio, you share how 2018 was a turning point where you were feeling burnt out, you're almost divorced. Take us to that year. So what was your business looking like then? How was it out of control? Talk to me, give us some context and build that up a little bit for us so we can understand, because it sounds like it was like a huge fork in the road.
So before I started my coaching business in 2019, we had our restaurant which was actually like a dream thing for my husband. And that didn't work out. And he said, you know what, I'm just going to go back to job and you can do whatever you want to do. At that time, I was a network marketer. I had this huge, like global business. We were operating in 5 countries, which was good. It gave me that, sense of being of a purpose. We were selling wellness products, which we use at home. So it was really good. I was really good when it comes to recruiting, building teams and all this stuff. But I needed to be with 3 kids. It was just overwhelming to go to these workshops, to be somewhere at a certain time where I couldn't have that freedom of, I want to choose when I want to be with kids. And that I said, you know what, let's just try with this online thing. And there was one of the customers, she said, can you coach me? So you have a business degree. I want to open my yoga business. Can you coach me? I said, heck no, I can't coach you. I never coach someone to actually open up a business. I modeled in network marketing, you model a business model. And she said, let's give it a try. And that give it a try was like, okay, let's do it. She believed in me more than I believed in myself. That was like a year. And I had this, belief that I can do this. So I said, okay, I have one client. Maybe I can actually launch a course for moms. I spent like 4 months, like developing funnels, landing pages, integration, you name it, email marketing, like building a course. And when the launch week came, I was out there. I was like, oh my freaking God. When you have this energy that you can't even sell because you're so exhausted, that was me. Like, I couldn't even, when it came to the point where I would say a price, my energy dropped out because I knew I was selling a product or a course for moms to stop struggling between motherhood and entrepreneurship. And I was obviously struggling because I spent like 16 hours a day building this business. And that was, we got one sale. My friend said, you know what, this is obviously a good course. Let me just get this. And she got the discounted price. And obviously a group is not with one person. So I coached her for 3 months for for a radical reduced price. And I learned my lesson. And I said, I can do this. If this is like this automation and all this stuff, if this is online business, if that means that I need to work 14 hours for nothing, where my husband literally came and he grabbed his suitcase and he said, you know what? No, this doesn't work anymore for me. You are not communicating with us. You're not spending your time with us. It's not worth it. And I said, okay, I'm going to take a break. Well, that continued to my father having a heart attack that May. So from March to May, my father had a heart attack and he was also an entrepreneur, obviously because of the stress, which he didn't even realize. And when I talked with him, do you realize that you're so stressful because of the money and constantly working? And he said, yes, I work hard. And that was literally where it dawned on me, like, wow, working hard? That got me to a place where my husband almost left me after 18 years with 3 kids because I was so obsessed with working hard. Something needs to change. In June, I had an abortion with our 4th kid, and I was like, yes, that something needs to go. I spent like summer doing nothing, like really nothing. And in August, I got an opportunity to actually collaborate with an amazing woman from UK. And she said, you know what, let's just build a course. And I said, no more building courses for me. She said, let's have fun, let's just do this. Let's throw some parties, some master classes. And it went well, really, really well. In like 2 weeks, we had 50 clients, we had 50 customers. And from that on, it escalated. I got my first team member and yeah. From that on is where we are now.
That is really, really inspiring. And, you rarely get to hear the behind the scenes. We see all these people launch these big programs or have the success, and you rarely get to hear people be as vulnerable and honest as you are. So first of all, I just want to thank you for that. And I really think that burnout and depression and anxiety is a huge thing in entrepreneurship and something that we're not talking about. So that's why I'm so happy to have you here as a guest. What do you think for somebody who might be in a similar situation to you are, right? They're doing 16-hour days, but they're saying, well, after this launch, I'll stop working so much, or, I'll stop as soon as I have success. What would be your advice to someone who's in a situation like that?
Well, what I learned from that experience is if I'm not having fun during the process, I'm not going to do it. So that's the first thing that I would really invite your viewers to think about. If this is not fun, because if you signed up for entrepreneurship, you have a freedom to choose something that you can't maybe choose in job. You're obviously a creative human being, and creatives, like especially kids, that was something that I learned from my kids. When they learn the most when they are having fun. And me being a lifelong student, I want to learn, but I also want to implement things in a way that it's fun. So this is my first check. If I'm not having fun, whatever I'm doing, I'm just going to stop. So I would say here at this point, do what you do best, outsource the rest.
What about for the folks who right now can't afford to outsource, right? They're like, I have to do everything myself, and I have to do these things that aren't fun to get this to launch. So we're like justifying the, 18-hour days. What would you say or to someone who might say that back?
So I would say, like, you can't afford not to afford this, because, you're at this point, you're probably trading your time for money. And once I can say from my own experience, where now we have 4 team members, I can say from my own experience that gave me so much freedom to focus on the things like, helping my clients, coaching, having this kind of, cool stuff. And if I would be still in that mindset, I can't afford this, well, it's my time or the money. So if you look at it like time is limited and money is limitless. So what do you want to spend?
I love that. That's such an abundance mindset philosophy. I appreciate that. So how did you start to then rebuild your business so that it was fun, it was automated to where it's at now? Like, you seem to have tons of great energy, you seem to be enjoying it, and you're experiencing the success. So how did you rebuild your business then so it was a way that was in alignment with the new vision that you had?
So obviously one of the things that in my values was collaborating with people, and just, that was one of really that got my brand and my business to that next level. Was I was really open to collaborate, to have the experts on my program, to do summits, to do giveaways, to do podcasts and all this good stuff, because you alone, you can go so far as you can go alone, but you can go so much faster when you're building with the team, with other people. So that was number one thing. The second thing was I really nailed down to just one core offer that I built my, signature program and my coaching program. So I really went from like having 7 courses to having just like one offer that is, one core offer. And if we upsell to coaching, that one-on-one coaching, that would be like upsell from that core blueprint framework. And the rest is automated, is evergreen. We sell it through ads. We don't even touch it. This is like something that, it's self-study. I don't launch. I don't promote this stuff like per se. So that was 2 things that I really implemented where I can see success.
It sounds like a lot of this comes down to mindset. And so almost every entrepreneur I talk to, we talk about mindset just because it's so vital. What are some of the mindset ahas or mindset rituals or routines that you have or things you do to maintain that abundance mindset that you would like to share with us?
Well, I need to share that because it is just like fresh, and it's in July, I attended my first UPW, which was virtual with Tony Robbins. And I did priming before, but we're actually doing listening to him and doing like virtually, like a real time experience. Priming is one of my favorite, like this, it sets me for success already in the morning. So that would definitely be one of the, and it's also through the priming, you're inviting those, not just things that you want to achieve, but that they're already available to you. Like being like so deeply grateful for everything that you already have. That's definitely such a big mindset shift. Journaling was also one of the things that I implemented, which I struggled a bit, but when I started to regularly, like daily journal, just like maybe for 3 minutes, just to write down. So to not have everything in my head, but just put everything on the paper, I could get clarity of my thoughts, clarity of my next step. And yeah, these two things are definitely the most important. And I move a lot. I really move a lot. I do, like, I exercise, I move. So I think that exercise, some people wouldn't associate necessarily with mindset, but it gives you so much energy, and it keeps you, on that, on the top of the game.
And did I see that you gave away some tickets to Unleash the Power Within? Was that you
Yes.
that was in the contest?
So that was really cool because we said, we wanted to try something new through a video contest, and we wanted people, to do a little testimonial. And this was one of the strategies that we wanted to try. It was fun, and I also I knew that a lot of people who were in that program, they were just, oh, I want to go to Tony Robbins, because it was literally, we ended up a program and the UPW started. And I said, you know what, because they announced them in November, and I said, I'm going to go in November, and I want to take a friend with me. So it was like, yes, let's do this fun thing.
So, giveaways and contests and stuff is a really interesting strategy. Could you share with us some of the behind the scenes, some of the nuts and bolts? How did you, in your mind, say, okay, so I don't know how many tickets you gave away, but I'm guessing it was like $1,000 or something to buy the tickets. Okay, one ticket. So I think it was like $1,000 to go to Unleash the Power Within, right?
$395 is a virtual experience. Yes.
Okay, so you bought a $395, and talk to me a little bit about the how you said this is going to be worth it, and then how you decided upon a video contest, and then how you decided the winner. Give us the nitty gritty.
Okay. So it was literally, so how we got to the video contest it was something that, I want them to do a video testimonial. So how can we actually use those video testimonials in a right way? So they also feel that they are getting something. And they were about to launch. So mind you that we also boost their confidence, because they needed to film something and they needed to promote themselves, and say, you know what, I did this cool video for my coach, blah, blah, blah. And that also gave them credibility, so it was a win-win. Then what I was thinking, because so through this program, I was not necessarily teaching them the mindset thing and how to get, it was basically strategy. So I said, okay, so if you want to implement the mindset part, freaking Tony Robbins is the best guy to learn, and if you want to do this, like, you will really get the first class experience with him. So it was like, it was a battle. And it was definitely worth it. We got we were promoting for 3 days. We got 2,000 new email subscribers, which was insane. It was really a good strategy. So yeah, and we had the back-to-back launches. So we knew, okay, so these people are hot. They know that something is going on. So yeah, it was clearly it was a little bit, okay, how do we do this? Because it's a new thing that it's going to be fun for our clients, but also fun for my team to actually execute. So it was a win-win for everyone.
Did you say you got 2,000 new email subscribers?
In 3 days.
Wow. Okay. Break it down for me. So how did you get people's emails? What did they have to sign up to be a part of the contest? Tell me about that.
So we used WooBox, and they literally needed to give their name and email to submit the vote, right? So, and then, how the automation goes. Once they signed up, we got them the first welcome email with, blah, 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 all the good stuff. So you participated, you voted. And then, of course, we have this weekly emails that we are sending them. And then we also invited them, okay, so do you want to be participating in our launch? Some people decided to go, some people not, like, but we have days where we get to nurture them, and we know how it is. People need to see you like 7 times, or now it's even 12 times to actually buy from you, but we have a really cool base.
Okay, so let me make sure I got this right. So you said to people, the video contest was, what did I have to do on the video?
So they needed to watch the videos. We had 6 participants. They needed to watch a video. They needed to choose one of them and to click the vote, submit the email and their name, so they got into the process. And they needed, if they didn't submit their email and name, so the vote wouldn't count.
But what was the video? You said there were 6 people who did a video. What was the prompt that you gave to them?
So video was basically like our students saying, this was the program, this is what I learned. We got them prompts to say what 3 things they learned, they achieved from the program.
Okay, so that's what you were saying earlier. My apologies. So there's a video testimonial. So I give a video testimonial, and then those 6 people reached out to as many people as they could to get them to vote for them. Yeah.
Yes.
So 2,000 divided by 6. So on average, they each contacted about 300 some people and saying, vote for me. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Which was actually, we had one girl who had 600. So yeah.
Okay. So then did any of those 2,000 people end up purchasing anything from you?
No, not at this point, because we haven't got to the point where we're actually promoting something. We are literally in the promo week right now. So
I'd love to hear that, because here, I'm going to do the math. So the Tony Robbins ticket you gave away was $375?
$395, yes.
Okay, so let's just say 400, just to be on the safe side. So 2,000 divided by 400. So you paid $5 per lead. So for some context for folks out there, for a Facebook ads campaign right now to cold traffic, you're going to get leads somewhere between $5 to $35. $5 to $35. So this campaign Deanna did in 3 days got the absolute lowest amount that we're seeing with cold traffic. We're seeing $2 and $3, but after you do a bunch of testing. So that was an excellent way to spend $400. Wow. That's amazing. I'm nerding out on this. I'd love to hear if you can update me if you do the analytics, if any of those people end up purchasing. Because even if they don't, I will take 2,000 emails for $400 all day. I will make that trade. That's awesome.
You got a deal. I can definitely walk you through. And if we just say, the launch will be, and we already have, like early bird, we already got 2 members sign up. So that's like 700, 1,000, 1,400 we already booked. So that was like already done through that, because they seen, this friend of mine actually signed up. I also want to sign up. So we already had the early bird ticket, which is not still available. But, this already paid off. And then we also have like the full price is 1K. So whatever happens from there on, it was fun. It was, something new, which we will definitely implement, in the next launch. And, we just need to a little bit, strategize to take away what didn't work, to prepare better, to give them an email, to give them prompts. We didn't give them anything. These folks just went in like raw and fresh.
Did you say 2 people, the 2 early birds, are they from this 2,000 or are they from another list?
So yes, they actually were in my audience. They probably seen when people were, tagging me and, doing this. So they've seen that I'm doing something. So they reach out to me and said, I want this, what they are having.
And I love how the thing was, watch a testimonial on how awesome my program is. So it's like, hey, watch this testimonial on how awesome my program is. Then give me your email. I love this. This is so amazing.
And
Okay.
it's basically organic. It was really fun. And what happened on the back end was also those clients, what happened, it was crazy because people started to follow them. When they said, you know what, my coach, that gave them also a credibility. And on the back end, they started to launch their program and they started to, grow their email list, grow their groups, which is insane. It's just insane. So it's like really escalating in all of the directions.
Okay. So I believe you're talking about your program Launch Booster, right? So
Yes.
Tell us about Launch Booster. How did it come to be? What is it? What do you do? Break some of that down for us.
So Launch Booster is a 5-step process that I walk my clients through, to create a profitable and purposeful business, where we take them through goal setting. I'm a goal mapping practitioner, so I don't do SMART goals. I walk them through intentional goal setting, where, if they set up a goal, a money goal, there needs to be a reason behind it. And I walk them through 7 steps. We do that. And then we go into, what is your genius? What is that you are expert in? So we dive into you, we dive into your clients, we dive into your offer and how to actually, do your sales process. So this 5 steps plus the follow-up, which is like, nurturing people. I think that the most of my audience didn't get the part, okay, I did all the thing, I did launch, but then they actually forget to follow up the people who came to their live trainings or podcast interviews. The follow-up is the fortune. So we have like a complete system on the follow-up and where the actually magic happens. We've seen that, and you probably know that on the close card day, the most sales come. And this is where you need to, and that's the mindset part. Should I be really sending like 5 emails? Well, no, you can do 2, but make them like really closing the gap. And why is it important for them to join your program or whatever? The follow-up system is really unique. And this is what I learned in network marketing. If you don't follow up with people, you lose them. So this is kind of like funny story into that. Yeah. So this is a 5-step framework, which I take them. And I take that through the course. I have a live coaching with them. We are this round, we are also taking one of my coaches. So we the first year when we are having an extra coach to coach. And this is what I do with my one-to-one clients, but through 3-month process. So we go even deeper through all this stuff.
Yeah, you make a really good point that a lot of folks will get the leads, they'll do all the upfront work, and then they just expect people to purchase like the first time they hear about it, and they drop the ball on that follow-up. Yeah. So let's jump into that a little bit. What are some tips, advice, things you've seen work on nurturing and follow-up?
So what I do when it comes to the follow-up, I make sure that really the second pillar when we are actually exploring, okay, so what is you and what is your genius and how you can actually help people to solve a problem, and getting really deep into what is your ideal, who is your ideal client, market research. When we get to the part where we are actually following up with them, we need to see, okay, so where is the gap? Where am I at and where is my client? Do we actually in that follow-up sequence, if that's a post, if we have like a social media promotional, if we have email, maybe we are doing live, see if there is a gap, where you are and where your clients are and where they want to go. Can you close that gap and give them something that they need? So sometimes it would also be like literally in this launch, we did a marketing and selling training, and people were still like, okay, but give me the how. So the how is the next step in the program. But they're still like, okay, I want to know the how, the how is in the program. So you don't want to give them too much of the how, because that just overwhelms people. So we go through this, simple tools, but also sometimes people just don't know.
So just to make sure I'm hearing you. So what a lot of people do in the follow-up is they overwhelm people too much with their coaching and their teaching and their knowledge, rather than you know, teasing a little bit, giving a little bit of what they can do, but not the whole thing, so that I then sign up for your program to learn the rest. Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Yeah, and all the time, I think it's important to survey them, like even in the middle, like ask questions. If we do a pop-up groups, so constantly asking people, what is still that you need, making sure that you care about them, not about your program or your offer or you, but you're actually giving them what they need and what they want. Is that aligned with that, what you can offer? Can you actually deliver on that? If not, maybe there is a person. So in last launch, what came and where we actually connected was that people wanted to scale. And they said, you know what, I need to launch Facebook ads to launch my program. I said, okay, I don't teach Facebook ads, but I have someone who can teach you Facebook ads. So that was like really me being, okay, so how can I close that gap? How can I actually get people to say, okay, yes, that makes a no-brainer offer. At the end, we got our in-house, my Facebook ad manager to do the training, but you still owe me one.
I definitely will. That's when Giant One was first born. So now that I'm normal hours again, I would absolutely love to do that for your group. What do you think is the number one mistake or thing people are overlooking or missing or making the wrong assumption? What is that thing entrepreneurs are doing right now that you see over and over again that you're like, please stop doing this thing?
Funny question. When we started this, can I say this? We were talking about copies and, originals. And I would say, like, stop copying other people, because you don't know what's behind the scenes of their business, what's behind the scenes of their model, their story. You do you. And if you don't know how to do you, ask for help. Don't try to... This is something that I really get overwhelmed with when I see people literally copying a model from someone else. You don't even know they had 5 team members and you alone and you're trying to pull all this shebang. No, don't do that. That's the one-way ticket to burnout, So yeah, you do you. Take where you are right now and make the best version of yourself.
I love that. Hearing all that you have done, the way you pivot, all the things you do, it really sounds like you have this ability to overcome fear. So I don't know if this is the right way to phrase it, but what makes you fearless?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and I love that. I would say that I learned through being, an immigrant kid and someone who moved countries. We didn't have no grandparents, nothing, being an adult in a new country. I always had this, if I go with fear, if I fear away, there's always something beautiful on the other side. I experienced that myself, and it's the same thing goes with business. When you allow yourself to get sucked by fear, you will always stay stuck. But when you fear away and you go yes, it is a moment where you feel, oh my God, I can't do this. Well, this is your growth pain. This is your growth pain. If it feels painful, just think, out of growth. And I love to actually pull this analogy with a butterfly, because I was literally I felt that I was a cocoon or caterpillar. What is the butterfly, the bug, where I felt, I'm going through so much pain. When I came to Sweden, for 1 year, I was working as a cleaner, which was, a very hard experience for me, physical and emotional, where people would tell me, you're just a cleaner. You don't need to study Swedish. You don't need to do this. And I said, you know what? Watch me. And this gave me that resilience and grit. And I said, you know what? I'm going to fear away. Once I said, I no longer will be tolerated, the bullying, the people like being, you are who you are. No, I choose who I want to be. So that makes me fearless in terms of, if I feel the fear, I go with it. When we go with the fear, we grow. So that's my philosophy.
I love that. I love that. Was there, maybe I was misunderstanding, was there a phrase where you're saying like fear going or fear something?
When you go with the fear, you grow. Was that?
I can't remember. It's all good. I love it though. That's awesome. When you go with the fear, you grow. That's amazing. That might need to be the name of this episode.
The title of the show.
Yeah. So where can folks reach out to you? Where can they tell you how much they appreciate you? Where can they learn about Launch Booster, all of that fun stuff?
On the TikTok. No, I'm just kidding. I obviously do TikTok because I have 3 girls and we dance a lot, but I don't do anything associated with business. So Instagram is my kind of new platform. I am known as a, Facebook group, community builder. I love Facebook. But I'm kind of, Instagram, I'm loving the vibe. I love Reels. I love everything that is going on with Instagram. So definitely check me out on Instagram. We have some, sometimes I do some crazy live video, which I'm just getting into it. I am terrified of live videos on Instagram, but I'm doing it fearlessly. So check it out.
And why don't you plug it? What's your Instagram handle? And if you have your website, your Instagram handle too.
So Dijana Llugolli, you can find me everywhere.
Show notes today, tomearl.com/D, tomearl.com/ just the letter D, tomearl.com/D. That's Deanna's nickname. So to make it easy for you all, you have tomearl.com/D. We're going to find Deanna's Instagram links where I want you to go learn more about Launch Booster and tell her how much you appreciate her. Share with her that you came across her page from this interview. Deanna, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and your insights with the celebration community. Truly, it means the world to me. I'm so glad that we're connected. So thank you so much.
Tom, it's my honor. And I'm really, really grateful to have the opportunity to share a little of my story and my success with your audience. Thank you.
My pleasure. Our closing ritual is for you to share an invitation with those who are listening. So what's your invitation for them to consider, to do, to think about, to become? What is your invitation?
So I'm not going to invite you to anything. My call to action is to think about this quote. What if I fall? But, oh my darling, what if you fly?
I got to ask, why that quote? What does that mean for you?
Because don't be afraid to fly. It's again, don't be afraid to just jump. And it's not when I'm going to be successful, I'm going to do this. Just do it now.
I love that. Thank you once again. It's truly an honor, and I invite you all to go fly with that invitation. Wonderful. I want to thank you for listening to this week's Deeper Listening, Re-Listening series. I don't know how many more times I can squeeze in the word listening into this sentence. I want to thank you, as I shared in the beginning, for sharing your time and energy listening to this entire episode. As I said at the beginning, I'd love to know, do you know what year this episode was recorded in? And I'd love to know what stuck out to you, what moved you, what questions do you have? And if you have any suggestions for what you'd like future topics to cover or future guests we should feature. My friends, I look forward to you joining us again next week for a new episode in our Re-Listen series. And as always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.